Now, under the hood, ChatGPT is based on the GPT model, and GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Now, this GPT model, in the end, is an AI model, an artificial intelligence model, created and owned by OpenAI, which, as a side note, despite its name, isn't too open. It originally was founded as a company that was all about doing public AI research. Now it's more of a for-profit closed company. But that's just a side note. Either way, OpenAI created this amazing AI model, the GPT model, and it's this model that's being used under the hood by ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is this web app with which you can interact in your browser to ask it questions and get back responses. The GPT model is the underlying program, you could say, that's being used by that web app to produce and generate those responses. So we have to differentiate between these two things, and it's also worth noting that these GPT APIs, these GPT tools, you could say, are not just used by ChatGPT, but instead can also be used by you. And indeed, later in this course, we'll have a whole section about how you can use these APIs, and there are different APIs as you will learn, how you can use these APIs, including the API that's in the end being used by ChatGPT, in your own code to build your own programs that utilize these GPT APIs. Because that, of course, enables you to build amazing applications that incorporate and implement this GPT AI model that was created and is owned by OpenAI. If you wanted to, you could kind of build your own ChatGPT based on these GPT APIs. So that's what ChatGPT is. Now, this GPT AI model is a so-called large language model. And large language models are now a general thing, not exclusive to OpenAI. So ChatGPT and those OpenAI trained GPT models are owned by OpenAI. Large language models are a general concept, and the GPT models happen to be such large language models. Now, large language models are in the end machine learning models that perform natural language processing tasks. So in the end, machine learning models that are built and optimized to understand and process text that's understood by humans, that's readable by humans, and models that can then do things with that text. Large language models are in the end trained to calculate probabilities to suggest words based on prior words, so to complete sequences of words, you could say. So the whole idea behind large language models, which are in the end based on so-called neural networks of transformers, and I'll get back to that in a second, the whole idea behind such large language models is in the end to take some input, some text as input, and to then produce some output to complete a sequence of words. And this could be a sequence of numbers, but it can be any kind of sequence, including a sequence where you maybe ask a question and the continuation of that sequence then is the response to that question. So therefore, large language model sequences are not just simple sequences, like a sequence of numbers, but instead can also be more complex sequences that might not look like sequences at first, but are also logical sequences if you think about them.